So on an average retreat that you would either go on or run, what would it involve?
My retreats, and what I like to do is people need more than just lessons as well.
Yeah.
And so what generally I do is we normally wake up, we normally have breakfast together. We then have a couple of workshops. And so we'll have a couple of workshops in the morning, and then we'll have an afternoon section. Now, depending on where we are and where the venue is, in the afternoon, we might go on a mindful walk.
Nice.
We might actually just want to chill and have time on our own, read books, be in silence, whatever it is. Or if it's a retreat somewhere further afield, overseas, we go and do a local activity, visit a
Nice.
local market or whatever it is. So because if it's overseas, you do want to experience being overseas.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, we normally do another workshop, meditation, yoga stretches. I love doing yoga or meditation as the sun sets. That is one of my favorite things. That is just so cool for everybody, just to do yoga and do yoga stretches as the sun sets.
Nice.
And then we have an evening meal together, and then it's normally socialization afterwards. And so it combines learning, self-care, also socialization, a little bit of exercise, meditation, and just being. That's the general structure that I tend to do.
Yeah. I think just being is a real challenge, isn't it? For a lot of us, well, what does it even mean? And cutting out all of the things that get in the way of us just being, I think, again, like silence, it's terrifying.
It's baby steps. Some people kind of like have, I think a lot depends on your childhood and how you were. I think we're only ever one step away from that. And if you were allowed to just be as a child, you find it easier to maintain that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But some people, especially if they've got targets to reach, exams to fulfill, expectations of parents, expectations of teacher, expectations of siblings, then they're set up and they're always seeking. And so it's harder for them to get back to just being.
Yeah.
Because they always feel they have to keep on attaining.
Yes.
But these things can be taken back and learnt. Just with a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, and slowly, step by step, by allowing the real, authentic you to take over. So you're not being the person you feel you should be, or expected to be, you're being the real you.
So how did you first discover retreats?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I was asked by somebody close to me for a long time, you need to do retreats. No, I'm a normal person, so I resisted.
So when you say do, was that go on one or
No,
run one?
run them.
So had you ever been on one at this point?
No.
So you were told to run them before you'd even...
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, I was told for many years, you need to run retreats. You need to run retreats.
Who told you that?
An ex-partner.
Okay. He's trying to get rid of you.
No, he was my biggest fan. You know what I mean? I'm not going to kind of like say any negative words about him. For the period of time we were together, we were very close, and he was my biggest, you could say, cheerleader.
Nice.
But he kept on saying, you need to do retreats. You need to do retreats. Why don't you do retreats? And it was only when, unfortunately, that relationship came to the end that I thought, maybe I need to go on a retreat and start to do retreats.
Oh, interesting.
And so maybe he knew me quite well, because the moment I went on my first retreat, I suddenly realized, oh, wow, these are an experience. And then I started to run them. And I've now all over the world, both here and far. It is just such a wonderful way, a connection you get with people. I don't think anything else can compare to them. It really, really is super. And I get as much out of delivering a retreat as hopefully they receive from me delivering the retreat. It is so, both of us and everybody around gets so much out. And you laugh together, you play together, you learn together.
Nice.
And so it is so good for everybody involved.
So in terms of your journey, what were you doing before it was suggested? What was it that your ex-partner saw that made him think, oh, you should do retreats? So how did you get into hippie shit in general?
Okay. Hippie shit.
Hippie shit.
Okay, I have been on festivals quite a lot. I've been delivering a lot of workshops at festivals for many, many years.
And what was in the workshops?
I do everything from mindfulness. I do lots of law of attraction workshops. I do how to love yourself, all kinds of different subjects that I cover on these workshops. I've been delivering workshops before the retreats for at least 15 years. And so delivering the workshops, so basically delivering the schedule and the itinerary of the retreats, I've been doing for a long time. So I've got all the materials.
Yeah.
It was just putting the materials into a different setting, a more immersive setting.
Yeah.
And so he used to regularly come with me to my workshops. And so he probably saw this evolve.
Nice.
And so he was with me on this journey. And so he could see something that at that time I couldn't see. But
That's lovely.
when I started to, I thought, oh, okay, yeah, he was right.
So how did you get into mindfulness and law of attraction and things like that? And when did you get into all of that?
Okay. Mindfulness first, I will talk about. So mindfulness, roughly, I would say 15 years ago when I worked for Birmingham Minds, they asked me to deliver mindfulness. At that word, I hadn't heard. I don't think many people had. It might have been 18 years ago, quite a while ago. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to be delivering workshops on mindfulness. I better find out what this is. And
yeah, it helps to know, doesn't it?
So I bought a couple of books and I started to read and I thought, don't everybody do that?
Oh, interesting.
And I thought, don't everybody wake up every morning thinking, yes, I'm glad to be alive.
No.
Don't everybody walk outside saying, oh my God, look at that tree.
Remember, this is the Cynic's guide. So there's obviously cynics that definitely don't.
Everybody wants to take a photograph of a reflection in a drop of rain. What's wrong? And I suddenly thought, I thought everybody did this. And apparently they don't.
No.
And so when I actually read all this, I had no idea. I thought everybody wakes up pleased to be alive and that the wonder of the world, and everybody don't just see the light and feel thankful and naturally grateful.
So I have a theory that there's two types of people in the world when it comes to mindfulness. There's those who are naturally mindful and those that need it. And there are like half people will find out about mindfulness and go, yeah, that's what I've always been doing. And then there'll be other people who will be like, oh, that's really hard, that's really challenging. They're the ones, aren't they, that really need this?
Yeah. And so what I do is, although I deliver mindfulness in many, many different ways, a lot of the times it is just me telling people about what I do.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's very much, and I wouldn't teach people to do things that I don't feel natural doing myself.
Yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong, learning and going on my journey with mindfulness. I mean, my favorite philosopher, you could say philosopher, is Lao Tzu. I'm very much the Tao Te Ching, the happiness in the now,
Yes.
the wonder and the beauty
Nice.
in every single day. And so that is the kind of like mindfulness route that I take and I teach to my mindful classes. And in my classes, we laugh a lot.
Nice.
And so I do weekly mindfulness classes, and we sometimes will take it outside and do blindfold picnics, go walking, and the amount of fun activities that we do in my groups, there's always a lot of laughter.
So it's not taking it too serious.
Yeah. And if you look at a lot of the people that teach and talk about mindfulness, I mean, you can talk about Eckhart Tolle, I love Eckhart Tolle, and a lot of people, they are very in tune with their inner child.
Yes. Yes.
They are very in tune with laughter and seeing the beauty and fun in everyday experiences.
Yes.
And so, and there is a very close bond as well between laughter and emotional resilience.
Yes.
If you can laugh at things easily, those people generally have a stronger emotional resilience.
Totally.